very limited staff. Like you guys are really, you're doing a lot with very little. And I'm so proud of you guys. And I just have to say that because you guys are.
I appreciate that. And while you do that, I definitely want to give kudos to the team while we're at that point. I mean, we have a great leader. She's not behind the scenes because she wants to be. She's behind the scenes because she's extremely busy. But Brenda Enriquez is our president and CEO, and she's great. She's really kind of given me the reins to go ahead and figure out our programming aspect.
That's an amazing leader, CJ.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I was going to say,
and is like, go. That's going to be amazing for the members, as she is doing everything possible to keep this.
She supports everything every idea that we've come up with, and even if it needs a little, sometimes I say them and I say it out loud. And I'm like, does that make sense? And she's like, let's figure it out. Let's see if it works. And because I think we're all in the same spot, but. She's great. And, we've got Amanda Rodriguez, who's our membership director, who's kind of taking a little bit of more of a marketing role. And so kind of just to pivot and trying to maintain and stay on top of things, get stuff out. Her and I are in the same boat. We can get better. We want to get better, and we want to know how we can take things to the next level. So, you've met with us before and kind of, we're figuring it out as we go, because how to get word out, how to not how to not be too much, and then how to make sure we're getting the right information out. It's still something we're navigating through, and I know that'll be something that'll come up later on, and I'm excited, especially utilizing this series not just as a resource, but it's a learning tool for us as the chamber. I mean, we get to, it's new, kind of a constant program. It's almost like a different job description, so to speak, but it's exciting, and it still does what we're wanting to do. Like I said earlier, is provide resources and give value to our members. It's different. 4 months ago now, the value that we were adding was different in the sense of, ribbon cuttings and social events and networking and things that we can do in person. So we're trying to do that through this platform now.
Yeah. And there's a way.
And there's a way. Yeah.
And there's always a way. There's always a way. But this is the beautiful thing.
Yeah.
If you ask yourself, where is the attention? Where are people spending time? Social media.
Yeah.
Online. So just be there and make sure you're giving your members value. And you're doing whatever it takes to make it happen.
And I don't want to leave everybody out. So there's Brenda, Amanda, Jennifer is our accountant, and also to that figuring things out on that aspect of things has been a different animal to tackle. Clarissa, Esmer, we're a whole team, and honestly, everybody pulling their strengths in the direction that we need and bringing them together. We don't always see it when you're in that perspective, but being able to still have these, to still be able to be here putting these things on, and everybody has a part in it. And so we're blessed to have a good team. So thank you for that, for recognizing that, and for bringing that to light. And I didn't want to not recognize them as we justified that, because they're all part of it and deserve that recognition. So, but so give us a little bit more on Sabrina. Kind of walk us through
So Sabrina was the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club of Edinburgh. And I just feel like it was like, this little Boys and Girls Club. And it was just this thriving monster that she created. She just has this knack. We all have our talents, and we all have our gifts. And her gift is being able to make a nonprofit profitable, period. Make a nonprofit profitable. So yeah, it does take work, like in anything, CJ. Nothing happens overnight. And there's systems in place that have to be in place. There's systems that have to be in place. There is marketing and, branding. All of it has to be there. Plus, the numbers, the financing, so she's just really good at wearing all the hats to make sure that they're all functioning so that it's so it's growing. So she does consulting, and she does courses, and She does her blog every single week. She goes on live every single week. She just gives a ton of information. So I'm
She's
just
basically goals is what you're saying.
she is gold. Yeah, like she just knows how to do it, and now she's private practice to
Yeah.
help nonprofits.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it's just a much better position for her because everything that's in her head would be able, anybody who's like, okay, I need Sabrina, because that's what's going to happen across the freaking nation is like, I need Sabrina. And that's what people are going to say that are in nonprofits, because she just has that magic. She's able to like
That's
analyze
awesome.
it and then go, okay, the board needs to be doing this, the data needs to be this. And it's like, wow.
That's awesome. And we're going to have her
We're going to pick her brain.
we're going to get to pick her brain. All right, cool. No pressure.
No pressure.
But that's thanks to you. So thank you for making that connection and bridging that wealth
so
of
excited
information.
too.
I know
that's yes.
Oh, she's excited. Nice. So
She's
we're excited.
So excited.
We're
yeah.
excited. So that is August 14th, again at 10:30 on Facebook Live, on the Chamber's Facebook Live.
And that's Sabrina Walker.
That's Sabrina Walker. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So 821, this is the one that we briefly touched on that we don't want to, I think we want to make sure we're careful how we present this topic. I know it's, especially right now, it's such a hot topic, but education and an update. When we thought about this, there wasn't the whole, we weren't at that point where there was kind of a different opinion on whether going to school was right or not. But we wanted to hear
and I don't even know if we have to tackle the opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
The opinion is irrelevant.
Right.
It's like, if these are the laws, and these are the rules, what options do parents have? Like, that's it. Just be educated on what options are out there and what the school would like to do. Because I can promise you this, there's not a school out there that wants to harm the kids or the teachers, put anybody in harm. That's for sure. So they're all trying to navigate this the best way possible. Yeah. So for us to be able to get like firsthand knowledge, like what their thoughts are, what they think is possible, and it could pivot as well. Look at everything pivots like one day to the next.
Yeah.
But being educated on this stuff is going to bring a lot of peace to parents.
Yeah. And here, that regard on our wish list of speakers is a representative from UT RGV to kind of give us the perspective of how the university it's such a crucial part of the Rio Grande Valley, and education. So it's one of our assets. And so we want to hear about pillars. That. Yeah. And we want to hear about their take on that and what their plan is. I know we've got the Mission Chamber has a great relationship with Mission CISD. They're one of our premier investors. We work really well with, they're really big on not just taking care and providing the education for our students, but in the community as a whole. They look at it beyond just the student, the parent, the family, how they're being affected. And we saw that, those of you all that were able to hear Dr. Betta speak about their pivots and their struggles and the things that they overcame when this pandemic started, in the middle of the school year. Their story was really, really inspiring, and her take on the care she has for the students and the families comes off so genuine. And I know that's not, we're just fortunate to hear from her perspective, but I have no doubt that goes across the board with all the superintendents across the valley. But like I said, she serves our mission community, and we'd like to get their perspective on what they see moving forward. So, hopefully we can get both perspectives and get them on August 21st. So we'll keep you guys posted on the details in that regard. That's our wish list, right? That's our wish list. That's our wish list. Yeah. And go from there. This next one on 828 is also a wish list speaker, but I think the topic is something that's really cool. I think anybody that we bring on, I think the idea of what this next topic will be is interesting, but we're wanting to talk about, kind of get a perspective on an evolution of communication and growing like a business over the years. We'd like to get more of a long-standing business that's been around through it all. Yeah, through it all and through generations. and hear about what they've experienced in the transition of their communicating and reaching out to members and kind of just staying relevant, because whatever they've done has obviously been working for them, and they're still in business today. To then now facing it this day and age where changing it went from one week to the next, one day to the next, and now, we take it on a week by week basis, and just kind of get their perspective on it, because I think it's important for businesses that have had, that they themselves are their own masterminds and have been, successful in the transitions that they've made through their evolution. So I don't know if you want to.
We've had several. Well, I know that they can't come that day.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
That's for sure. Like,
okay.
Yeah, she's moving her daughter from Colorado or something like that. So, but I mean, just the whole goal, and maybe somebody can help us. I know that we're looking to see who we can get. Our goal was Bert Ogden. That was our goal, because they've been around forever. And she was so gracious, and she was like, let us know, but right now we can't, and we can't for a little while, but we'll get her on. Eventually. But the reason for that topic is because in 2008, the market crashed. And then, before that, the peso devaluation. So there's been, when we talk about a business who's been through all those things, survived, thrived, and now this, and they're doing the best they can, there's so much wisdom in that. Like, there's something that happens internally that they immediately go to that, whatever that is. And it would just be so much gold to know, like, what is that? Like, how do you survive all of these massive hits?
Yeah. And I think that, like you mentioned, at this point that, that as much as that was our wish list speaker, if you guys, and now mind you, we know there's a lot of businesses, and we brainstormed on a couple of other ones, but at this point we want to utilize this platform also, and today's specific episode, to get your opinion, to hear what business comes to mind for you when you think of a business that's been around, that's kind of grown, something that has been around for years, that you just come, you think of a phrase, or you think of a slogan, or you see a commercial, or you see an image, and that you think of that business. And kind of, please feel free to chime in and let us know. We definitely want to hear.
Open.
Yeah, we want to hear about those experiences, and kind of what brought them to their success, and where they're at today,
or how they survived through some of this stuff. Because truly, it's a struggle for everyone. No, and some people are, because it's a service that's needed, because that every time there's a massive challenge or a hit to our economy, there are people that thrive because it's something that's needed. There are people that thrive because of that impact, that negative impact that's had on the economy. There is an aspect that's a solution during that time. And so I'm curious about those too.
No doubt. So that's definitely one. I know we're scheduled all the way through, I think we have dates through September 4th. And then at that point, we'll probably reevaluate, and then just to come up with some new, we wanted to have a starting point. And then, like I said, utilize this to hear what further things you guys want to talk about. So that was 8/28. On 9/4, we were wanting to get a kind of like a legislative, so to speak, update, but in a different light than we've normally done. I know in the past it's always been in our area, through the chambers and other resource organizations. It's in a luncheon setting. It's in a panel setting.
Same questions. Sorry.
The
same questions.
No, and they're all things.
I literally, CJ was like, next time we're gonna like shake it up, and I'm gonna be like, so what's your favorite burger?
Yeah, pretty much. That's the next go around, right? We're that's the future of legislative updates. But I guess kind of, if you give me a little bit more direction on what your thought was on that, because I thought it was really refreshing than
the thing is that we have some leaders who, they're not comfortable in this space, and we have other leaders that are very informative. And I believe that all of them mean well, and all of them are trying their best during this time, right? But I would really love to sit with a couple and just be like, okay, look, what are your thoughts? I mean, because they don't do anything in a vacuum. They don't get to make a decision. And we also have to educate our community about that, State Rep Terry Canales may feel one way, and we have another state rep that feels another way. But at the end of the day, it's a voting process. It's a
Mhm.
process, And so, but they're in those positions for a reason, and for them to like share their thoughts, like, if we could do this, if we could do that, and they're fighting for us to do that, because that's what they're doing for our community, is they're fighting to keep us safe, right? To do the best that they can for us. And for us to hear that in that perspective of like, if we could do this, if we could do that. And at the end of the day, CJ, yeah, there's things that kind of come down on what we can do, but
Mhm.
we are all very capable of keeping each other safe.
Right.
Sometimes we just need to hear it from our leadership on how.
Yeah.
Or their thoughts on education. Like, this is what's happening as a whole, but what are your thoughts on how we can navigate it in what's best for our community? Because we are all very intelligent. So
Right.
given the tools, given the perspective, we can make educated decisions that help our community and our family.
I agree. I think that's really cool. And I got excited about that because I think, like I said, normally, in the settings that we've usually seen it, it's a lot more formal, and then, not as open in conversation
Yeah.
and as vulnerable or as
Yeah.
unscripted as we want. And the fact of the matter is that they represent our area, and we want to just get their, humble, real perspective on like what that
Yeah.
process is and kind of where it is today, because I know that we're not, it's I'm sure on their end, if we're waiting to hear about constant change and updates and whatnot, they're working on it before we hear about it.
I
So,
know.
kind of that whole perspective, or maybe even kind of combine it with like a little way forward aspect of like, what was the process for you guys and where are we today? You know what I mean?
I would be obsessed with that. I would be like all over that. Yeah, I would love to know. And I'm sure everybody would. You're right. They're getting all of this. They know things today that we won't know for weeks.
Yeah. Or working on something that, they can't really put out there yet, but it's going to have an impact on something or other. So that's kind of our lineup for the next 8 weeks. We really want to, we started today, and when we thought about this, like I said, it was kind of that we needed a starting point, and then part of going through the topics, we thought, let's turn it back over to our members. Let's kind of hear what they want to hear about, and let's formulate it and continue to grow with this. I think a couple of these topics, in my personal opinion, can expand and really kind of be something that has a different point of direction, and we'll need a follow-up. We'll need another reminder, because like we said, every business is different. Everybody's needs is different. All the resources that are needed for your specific business are going to be, yours, Giselle, are different than the chambers, than the restaurant industry, and all boutiques and all that good stuff, all the things that make up our small business community. They're all going to be affected in a different light, but one of the things, just I don't want to forget to talk about this, but one of the things that got me excited, and that you were what I'm hoping that not only helps us as the chamber with our approach, but any other business that may be trying to get information out on whether it's a weekly, monthly, or timely basis, a strategy point. So I know when we were talking specifically about masterminds and marketing for it, and kind of building a campaign, so to speak, on keeping relevant with it, what were your thoughts on that? And kind of give us a little bit of direction from your mastermind's perspective on how we can go about that, and how other businesses may be able to do it in their own regard.
Yeah, absolutely. So in this regard, just to give you perspective, we're doing this right now, right? And
Right.
So we've had an hour of talking about what our goals are, what the show is going to be about, what our intention is for our members. After this, if we take this information and we actually write a long form piece of content, which is article format, right? And we're able to build that with highlighting certain quotes that came out of here, certain highlights that we're going to like actually have follow-up for, right? That continue to create the campaign. We take that information, we write up an article, we we start to build a campaign that starts with LinkedIn, publishing an article on LinkedIn, and then from the article itself, taking out bits of information from it, creating ads that highlight what we talked about as we're pushing forward on what's coming, right? And we push that out into, we do that on Twitter, we do that on Facebook, we do that on Instagram, and we do that on LinkedIn. There are other apps, but these are the ones where you have business members that are actually doing work and actually communicating, right? The other thing, we take this and we create a show. So we have a show, right? This is what we're doing. But on IGTV, you're able to upload this information, create a series. So our, 8 weeks that we've committed to is going to be our first series, and we're going to have 8 episodes. And so, and we're going to name it and we're going to create it. And that is going to be something that's forever a resource, and it's forever a memory also. And it sees the evolution of the chamber, especially during this time that will be what people are talking about 2 decades from now. Yeah. Remember during the time of COVID, so there's a lot of really important things that come out of this at the same time, but there's just a lot of, from this one piece of 1 hour, mastermind, you can create a campaign that is 10, 15, 20 different content posts that educate, that remind people about the next one, that also show the intent and the value to our members. So a lot comes from it when you actually strategize on how to create what is called a social media campaign. And that's the main thing that I want everybody who's listening to know. I don't care what your business is, you have the capability of doing that, of creating that as you're dripping, which people, they do business with people they trust. They do business with people who allow them into their life. So you got to drip yourself in there. CJ, you've got to show your face what you do. Brenda has to show the behind the scenes of what she's working on. We have to highlight our board so people know, wow, oh, they have that, no, okay, that makes sense. We have to highlight our members. We can create campaigns like that, that really do a full fluid story of a very specific thing that you're doing to bring value to the people that you serve.
I like that. I'm right. So if it looks like I'm I'm writing notes while we're doing it because we're getting
That's what I'll be doing next Friday and the Friday after that, asking questions and.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that is the part that for us, especially on the chamber side, and I know the team's probably thinking, we think we're doing things and something will come up and it's you pivot to do what you need to do, or there's little projects. And I know we've got 2 really big projects that we're working on helping out with. One, I think just staying the day-to-day chamber aspect of things and kind of all that is one thing, but and then the other one is the partnership that we have with the MEDC and the city for the business recovery grants that are going out, and that's been a whole process, and that's still underway, and we're doing the best we can to keep that flowing. But when you think about the handling those things, keeping up with with programming, keeping up with the series, and then filming behind the scenes stuff, everybody's probably we don't have time for that. But what I like that you're saying, and what I think we need to get what it needs to be, I guess, become comfortable, or a norm is turning it on and just not do what we're doing, but just document what we're doing, basically. You know what I mean?
Document, and the whole thing is, there is a way to do this where it saves you so much time. Where time is sucked up is when you're what do I post? How do I post? Oh, I have to post. All those things cause overwhelm and waste time that you didn't have to, but you're not but I want to give you a disclaimer. You don't know until you know.
Right.
You don't know what you know until you know it, right? So what I would love to do is, if I'm going to teach Amanda, I'd like to go through the entire campaign process, because we can build an entire campaign within an hour.
Yeah.
So within an hour, you have all your posts for that specific thing in an hour for the next 15 days, 10 days. So, and then remember, they can intertwine. We don't have to do that. We could actually build just for the 8 days, so that Then we have the next show, and then we have 8 days.
Nice.
And it's doing 2 things simultaneously, highlighting what was just said,
right,
bringing up to the surface of awareness on really important facts from that one as we're pushing the next one.
Yeah.
You know, and
And
that's
it's funny. You're saying this, and I know that me, you and Amanda will probably meet outside of this. But what the cool part, this was not a planned plug, but I'm hearing this and I'm getting excited because I think it's really cool that you do have that perspective, and that, you know, I don't think about it like that when I'm thinking about what to post, and I know I'm pretty sure, because Amanda and I've done it together. We're like, all right, how are we gonna get that out there? Like, what do we post about it? You know what I mean? And it does take up time, and we do realize, like, man, we spent 30 minutes to write one post, or you know, to do that thing, because we were just going back and forth on it. Oh, that is real. But I'm excited about, you know, yesterday we got the word out about your course that you're coming out with tomorrow, and you're saying that. I'm excited because it's just like a little preview on that end. But I want to give you that opportunity because you've done so much for us in that regard of really kind of taking us under your wing and guiding us and guiding me and guiding the team, and what you will continue to do with you know, as we continue to grow this. But give us a little bit of insight on that and kind of what
I would love to. So tomorrow, so I've been harping, as you know, I don't know if you call it harping or encouraging, but that
encouraging for sure.
Encouraging. Okay, cool. That virtual events are real. They're very powerful. They're very informative. They actually are. It's when people are in their home and they're learning, they're apt to do more than in an event where there's so much distraction. Like, that's just the norm, right? Like, you're at an event and people are talking to you, you know, yeah, they're talking, but you're eating at the same time. At home, when you're focused on the screen, everyone has a front row seat, right? So this is why we're going to do. What event are we doing in September? You want to let everybody know?
We're doing our Buenas Tardes Luncheon. Yeah. The date is still, I don't think we've set a specific date, but it'll be more towards the latter part of September. And that's been the Buenas Tardes Luncheon is one of the Chamber's signature events that we've done. That was, you know, quarterly, in person. It was kind of, I think people look forward to it. I think it was kind of, we had created an event, a kind of a experience with it. Yeah. Really kind of just changing and getting people involved. But kind of the masterminds, it was when was kind of our that conversation, given our last one that we want to replicate and bring to life. But yeah, our Buenas Tardes Luncheon, which has really kind of been where we bring business leaders or topics that affect businesses and kind of give them that insight or that perspective, that motivation. It's been it's served a couple different themes throughout its existence, but that's been beyond my time with the Chamber. And I know they've done some really great things. They've brought some really powerful speakers down, and then we've really cultivated our speakers. Started working on cultivating the talent and the local speakers that we have. And man, it's been really cool, refreshing, and a blessing actually to discover these people. That's how our relationship strengthened and kind of came to reflourish with the Chamber.
So blessed, yeah.
And we, you know, you don't know, like you said earlier, you don't know what you don't know, right? And when you get this perspective from people that are these, like, behind the scenes on some really great things, or some brands or some campaigns or slogans that we see on a daily basis, and you had no idea what the driving force was behind that. It's cool to bring it to light and get inspire other business leaders. And that's what I saw we were starting to do with the Buenas Tardes Luncheons. And that's where our programming, for me in my head, and Brenda feels the same way, is we want to continue to do that. We felt like we kind of started a little spark when we went with the Buenas Tardes Luncheons and the way we were going with that. Then when we realized we were going to have to be more virtual, my idea to continue that was to have that same momentum, you know what I mean? To keep that spark going, even on a virtual platform. So thinking of that, and it's weird because even as I'm talking about it now, I'm realizing that that's kind of what we've been doing with these with the way forward, with the series now. But thinking about Buenas Tardes, and we use BTL as the acronym for it, but we think about BTL, and when I was thinking, I was intimidated by, and I still kind of am intimidated by a virtual aspect of it.
It's going to be fine. It's
yeah.
going to be fine. Because there, I know that there's a lot of concern, not concern, just like how do we highlight our sponsors?
Yeah,
How do
because I think
we,
in my head, I see it as a fundraiser. I'm
yeah,
like, that's a fundraiser, then that's
and it
tables,
still
that's
is.
people, that's, that's X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
How do I make that? How do I do all that and not just
Yeah.
have what we're doing now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And so that's the cool thing, is that there is a way to pivot. And my first event for Bold is tomorrow. And so
exciting.
so we're going
So
to have a
excited
social
about
media.
that.
Me too. Thank you. It's a social media intensive. Me and my husband are going to teach the 4 C's to social media success. And we're going to take people on this journey. So we have so it's completely free. We have that ability to access free, and then we have the VIP. And so the only difference is that the free access is going to be on a private group on Facebook, and we're going to have breakout sessions after each C. And the ones that are doing the free access, they're going to have Facebook challenges that they're going to do within the group, right? Because the important thing is you learn, you implement. And on social media, that's exactly the case. Like, don't just go to anything when somebody's teaching you something about social media or marketing. Implement immediately.
Yeah.
Like, to be able to do the functions about what you're being taught. The most important part is that first time. It's actually putting it down into action is what's going to first help you realize there's nothing to fear, because there's a
Mhm.
lot of fear that goes on with that, right? And then help you understand no matter what level you're at, you're able to do it. So but the VIP, they're not only going to get the recording. So I have a lot of people who bought VIP. They're just like, I have to work, but I want this. And so they'll get the recording and all of the workbooks that go with that. And on VIP, the ones that do attend, they will be going into mastermind sessions after each one. So they will go with 1 or 2 people in their breakout session to actually do work.
Nice.
So to break down each of those elements so that they have a campaign, so they have a very clear idea of what they need to do when they leave there. That's the one thing that I want. I want everybody to leave going, I understand now how I need to handle social media without it being like, oh my God, when am I going to have the time? How am I going to do that? There is a way. There
Yeah.
totally is a way where you can eliminate the overwhelm. You can get on a, time block, the creative, and then the 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day to post. And then there's a really big aspect to building your community and influence. And that happens with it's behind the scenes. It's
That's
not you
awesome.
in front of the camera.
Yeah.
It's literally the love that you give others. So that's
That's
what's
really
happening
cool.
tomorrow,
That's
10
really
to
cool.
5.
That's really cool. And I think I think that kind of like I said, that brings everything kind of full circle. And I'm glad you were able to make the the connection between the vulnerability that you have, like putting that out there for you tomorrow, and then kind
Yeah.
of that's been mine with the with the BTL. But I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited to see how all those things come together. But that was the idea with today. As we're wrapping up,
Yeah.
I kind of want to reiterate, what our goal was and kind of how this came about and why we took this approach to this first episode. So we're just at the chamber's in the same spot as a lot of businesses are. We were wondering, what next? How do you do that? And it took a while to kind of, when you're in a job and you're in a leadership position, or you're in a place that there's expectations to just, we'll figure it out, move forward, and then really not know how to completely move forward. Was
Scary.
scary. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a little intimidating, kind
Unknown.
of, kind of just like, all right,
Yeah.
is this the right way to do it? Isn't this not the right way to do it? So, we have a great board, and, I never really fully said it out loud, but it was, I know Brenda kind of, as I would question and kind of come up with things. Some of the ideas were not good, and some of the ideas were repetitive, and some of the ideas were like, that's really probably not going to really be of substance. It was like, let's turn to our board, let's ask our board. They're business leaders, they're involved in the community, and she said, let's start a committee, start a committee, and let's see who we can get on there. Let's see who shows interest. And of course you did. Sean Downey did a 5x5, and really it's been the perfect, it was that one planning session that we had was really great, and kind of just sparked the ideas to go again, and we're able to like I'm glad we've taken like 2 of these things and really kind of expanded on them. There was a lot of ideas. I still have the pages on the notes on that.
Yeah, like, oh my God, he had a really good one about the mentorship, but you know,
Yeah,
that would
yeah,
take a staff.
yeah.
And then, well, I mean, I'm sure
It's
that
not completely out of the question, and it's still
no,
not
yeah, because we
happening.
can
It's
actually
still
lean
kind
on
of,
our members.
yeah, and that's
We
still
could,
not.
yeah,
It's still on in the pipeline.
yeah,
And I think this was kind of a way. This example was, I guess, starting this kind of also led into that. I think will lead into that, can transition into that, as we bring in these experts and talk about specific fields. I think we can get a little bit more detailed with a mentor aspect of it later on. But you know, we were vulnerable. We needed to turn to some experts. We needed to ask some questions. We needed to really find out, all right, how is this going to work for us? And we're still finding out as we move along. But nonetheless, we refuse to drop the ball on providing the resources to our members. So we figured, in this process, coach us, please, or please guide us.
yeah.
While we know that there's something that she's teaching me, she's going to teach Amanda, that she's going to teach both of us, or the whole chamber team. Somebody else can pick up on that and utilize and take that bit of information. So the same thing when we bring the rest of our speakers in, you know, whether they're talking about something that's informing it on a general scale, that has some sort of effect on the community that you live in, the business that you serve, the customers that you serve. So how you react to that is going to be something that's going to give you a tip, you know, to be able to adapt accordingly. So all of it was with the purpose of still providing a resource, still being of value to our members. And so we're excited about that. You know, I'm just really excited to see what the future of how this continues to roll out and how we can continue to be of that resource to our members. And so
It's going to be great.
I'm so excited. And again, I'm always so humbled by your willingness to just be so open and to be so helpful, and you know, you do it without expecting anything in return, and we're so grateful for your guidance, and I'm really appreciative. I know we're getting towards we're at our time, but if you have anything that you'd like to say on your end in closing.
All I want to say is that everybody watching, know that we're all sitting at the same table. We're all trying to figure this out. We're all trying to figure out how to continue business, grow our business, you know, touch our community, be involved in our community, and be of service and an asset to our community. So no, you're not alone. And whatever you're feeling and whatever doubts you're having or whatever questions you have, reach out to us, like reach out to the Mission Chamber. If you aren't a member, it's the perfect time to be a member. And I want to tell you guys that if you're not a member, there are payment plans. There are ways.
Definitely. Yeah.
We are doing flip-flops backwards to try to figure out how to help anyone who needs it. So don't think that, oh, it's too bad you can't. Like, there is a way. So there is a way so that we can be of service to you. The team is absolutely incredible, and you're not alone. And that's the thing, you're not alone. And we are going to develop whatever needs to be developed as a board, as the team, to give you the resources that you need. And so I just want to close with that, because you know, it takes time.
It's
but
true.
Those are the wheels that are turning all the time with Brenda and CJ and everybody. So you're not alone.
Thank you, Giselle. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for those of you all that tuned in today. We greatly appreciate it. If you have any comments, any positive feedback that you'd like to leave, please leave it in the comment box, or please shoot me an email. Again, that's vicepresident@missionchamber.com. You can give us a call at our office at 956-585-2727. We're still, our phones are always available. You can contact us at whatever time. But please don't hesitate to give us some of the feedback of the things that you'd like to see. And like Giselle said, if you're not a member and you'd like to become a member, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to talk about that in detail and to your specific needs and what you would like to gain out of it from, you know, your membership with the chamber. We do have that, you know, we strongly believe in wanting to cater to your specific needs, of course we'll do the best that we can. So we want to provide that resource to you. We want to provide that value to you guys, to your business, and to the community. So thank you guys again for joining us. Giselle, thank you so very much. Wish you the best of luck on your event tomorrow, and we'll be in touch. So thank you guys. Hope you all have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. Thanks. Bye-bye. All right, we're off live.